cloud cover on the visible satellite. We're not going very far with temperatures this afternoon. If you want to get the pups out for a walk, take an umbrella with you. Most of it is light. We will struggle back into the mid-50s this afternoon into this evening, and we're not done with the rain by the end of the day today. I am updating Storm Tracker right now, pinpointing how much of the time you'll have to spend indoors today and tomorrow. That hour-by-hour look at Storm Tracker coming up in just about 15 minutes.
Breaking at noon, Allegheny County just released the latest numbers on COVID-19 cases. The health department says there were 215 new cases over the past 48 hours. Those cases come from tests taken between last October 12th and yesterday. No new deaths were reported. There have been nearly 14,000 cases in the county since March.
And today, Pitt is lowering its COVID-19 alert level, and that means that the university is easing up on some restrictions on campus. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond went to the campus in Oakland, and she explains what is changing and how students feel about that.
Face masks, social distancing, limiting the number of people you come into close contact with. Those standard guidelines, they're not going anywhere. But one of the biggest differences for students starting today is that they don't have to stay alone on their laptops anymore, because the university is going from an elevated risk to a guarded one. If students want to, they could still take classes online. But starting Monday, more classes are moving to in-person learning. Restrictions on gatherings are loosening, moving from groups of just 25 up to 250 people. Common areas are also opening back up.
If people want to have fun, like they're opening up, hey, good for them. Just people be smart, be safe. That's all I got to ask for, because otherwise we go back to the risk posture again.
These changes come at the start of homecoming week, and for the first time this season, fans can watch the game in person at Heinz Field. Last Thursday, the university announced 5,500 fans. Only about 1,000 students can be there for the final 2 home games of the season. Some students are super excited about this, but does everyone think that this is a good idea? You'll hear from one student who's sharing her biggest fear in all of this at 5. Reporting in Oakland, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
Today is Big Day in Decision 2020. It is the last day you can register to vote in the upcoming election. If you haven't registered yet, you can complete a voter registration application online or by mail. You can also deliver it to your county voter registration office. If you're registering in person, the deadline is 5 p.m. And if you're registering online, you must submit your registration by 11:59 p.m. The deadline for applying for a mail-in ballot is October 27th by 5 p.m. We have a full section designated to election coverage. You can go to WPXI.com and the WPXI News app and click on Decision 2020.
And with just over 2 weeks until Election Day, President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden are spending nearly all of their time in swing states that could make the difference. NBC's Tracy Potts has the latest on both campaigns.
16 days from now, we're going to win the state of Nevada.
With 15 days to go, President Trump is defending his coronavirus response in battleground Nevada.
If I listened totally to the scientists, we would right now have a country that would be in a massive depression.
Democratic nominee Joe Biden in North Carolina.
This president cares more about his Park Avenue perspective on the world, the stock market, than he does about you, because he refuses to follow the science.
Coronavirus cases are soaring. Medical experts predict a tough winter.
The next 6 to 12 weeks are going to be the darkest of the entire pandemic.
America holding out for a vaccine.
The first tranche of people to get vaccinated really won't be protected from the vaccine probably till February and maybe March, and so that's a long way off.
The Trump campaign is defending the president's mostly maskless rallies.
People don't want to be living in fear again in their basements. We're going to be strong, we're going to be safe, but we're not going to be scared here.
Another bump in the road for negotiations over coronavirus stimulus to help millions of struggling Americans. Channel 11's Jacqueline Fell explains time is running out if Washington wants a deal before Election Day.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi set a Tuesday deadline for Democrats and the White House to work through any differences if they're going to pass something by November 3rd. Late last night, Pelosi accused the White House of refusing to commit funding for a national coronavirus testing and contact tracing program. The White House has not yet responded. This hurdle follows what it appeared to be promising developments in the negotiations surrounding a stimulus package, which could have included another round of direct payments for Americans. Talks were focused around $1.5 and $2 trillion to help airlines, unemployed Americans, and other ailing industries. At the same time, the GOP-led Senate has 2 votes scheduled this week. One is for a plan to fund a popular small business loan program, and the other is on a much smaller $500 billion stimulus plan. President Trump has renewed calls in recent weeks for a bigger relief package. He could be key in pressuring Senate Republicans to support a bill if negotiators are successful. Reporting outside Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
A group of Pennsylvania restaurant and bar owners is calling on state lawmakers to override a governor's veto. On Friday, Governor Tom Wolf vetoed a bill that would have loosened COVID restrictions. That bill would have set minimum capacity at restaurants at 50% or more. It would have allowed customers to sit at bars and would eliminate the requirement that a meal must be purchased to buy an alcoholic beverage. On Saturday, a coalition of restaurant and bar owners rallied outside the state capitol. They said they were fighting to preserve jobs and their livelihoods against what they called industry-killing restrictions. Governor Wolf said his veto will protect Pennsylvania residents from spreading the virus.
7 months after the Allegheny County Courthouse shut down because of the pandemic, criminal jury trials are about to start again. Steps are being taken to keep everyone safe. Plexiglass has been installed. Defendants must wear masks. Social distancing will be observed. And lawyers are not allowed to have those close conversations with clients at counsel tables. In June, 3 assistant district attorneys contracted COVID. Longtime assistant DA Russ Broman died. Before his death, he filed a complaint saying he believed he was exposed in a courtroom.
The state's unemployment system is back up and running now. The Department of Labor says if you tried to file your bi-weekly claims yesterday, you may have run into some technical difficulties. Other officials say, though, that no other programs were affected. A violent crash ends with a truck on its roof and 3 other cars badly damaged. This was the scene this morning in Rankin. Channel 11's Mike Holden spoke with neighbors about that accident.
And they tell him, unfortunately, this is nothing new.
It was a chaotic situation right here in Rankin. And this afternoon, neighbors tell me they're incredibly frustrated by how badly damaged their cars were. They say it's a true miracle this guy survived the crash. State police and emergency responders have cleared out of this Rankin neighborhood. This afternoon, neighbors are now just beginning to clean up the debris and car parts left behind. A violent crash happened right here along Rankin Boulevard overnight. Police were called to the busy road around 12:30 a.m. When they got there, they found this pickup truck on its roof. That truck hit at least 3 other parked cars, creating a chain reaction of damage. Some of the cars are totaled. Others will now require thousands of dollars in repairs. State police say after the driver crashed, he took off. He will now be charged with hit and run and other related offenses. Neighbors say the impact was so loud, it woke up many people in the area.
I seen it. It happened so fast, but the noise was gigantic. It sounded like a bomb went off. And that bomb that I thought was going off was actually the car tumbling over and going on its roof.
And state police are still investigating exactly what went wrong out here. I'm now working to talk with neighbors as they track the damage, plus their message to local police as well as area officials about the changes they'd like to see in this neighborhood for Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Rankin, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
1 person is behind bars and police are looking for 3 more after a Pittsburgh man was shot and killed near IUP. Police say they found Jaden Wright in the parking lot at the Carriage House apartment Saturday morning. That's on Oakland Avenue in Indiana Borough. This man, 20-year-old Isaiah Moore, is charged with criminal homicide and robbery, and police need your help finding him. Investigators are also looking for 2 more men seen here in these surveillance photos. Police believe they are in their early 20s.
A warrant is now issued for a teenager in connection with a shooting in Mount Washington. 19-year-old Ramon White Jr. is wanted. He is charged with attempted homicide. Police were called to Birmingham Avenue Friday night, where they found the victims inside a truck. One man had been shot in the arm. The other was grazed. They told police they were shot near Olympia Park.
Students in the Hopewell Area School District are learning virtually today so the school buildings can be cleaned. That's after recent COVID-19 cases, including a high school student last week. The district says the virtual learning day is out of an abundance of caution. We're also learning more about COVID-19 cases in the McKeesport Area School District. Last week, officials say 3 teachers and 2 students tested positive. The cases were reported at Twin Rivers Elementary and the high school. The district cleaned the buildings over the weekend. School officials believe each case is contained. And middle and high school students in the Quaker Valley School District will have classes 100% online for the next 14 days. The district recently learned of 9 new positive cases of COVID-19, bringing the total in the district to 11. Classes for 6 through 12 will be over Zoom starting today.
New at noon, longtime NHL announcer Mike "Doc" Emrick is hanging up the microphone. NBC Sports announced his retirement this morning. Emrick started covering Penguins hockey at the old Civic Arena nearly 50 years ago. In that time, he covered more than 3,700 hockey games and 22 Stanley Cup finals for NBC. Emrick posted a video announcing his retirement, and we have it for you. You can watch it on WPXI.com.
What better way to bring people together than through the universal language of art?
The message local artists are spreading, one building and brushstroke at a time.
Plus a lot of rain on live Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar. I'm pinpointing the hours you'll be able to get outside later today.
Need an umbrella? Should you grab a coat? What about those weekend plans? Watch Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper, Scott Harbaugh.
Let me help you plan your day.
Danielle Dozier and Jessica Faith. Count on Severe Weather Team 11.
When news is happening near you, Channel 11 is there.
Aliquippa, Coriopolis, Moon. We cover news everywhere you live.
That's what makes Channel 11 News different.
We're in McCandless, Cranberry, Butler. For news from where you live,
watch Channel 11 News at 5.
Watch Channel 11 News at 6.
Followed by NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Local artists are on a mission to end gun violence and racism. Channel 11's Serafina James caught up with one group as they spread their message one wall at a time.
Those behind this mural project tell me its purpose is to galvanize the city through public art. Not only that, they want to show the beauty that happens when we all work together.
I just see our country and our city becoming more and more divided.
This large mural found on the side of Salim's Market and Grill in the Strip District has an even larger message.
We love you, Pittsburgh. Let's work together. Let's make this a better future for us all.
Muralist Kyle Holbrook tells me the goal of his latest project, Pittsburgh Solidarity for Change, is to design thought-provoking installments that address difficult issues such as police brutality, gun violence, and racism. But in order to create these broad strokes, Holbrook enlisted the help of local artists like Sarah Butra Coleman.
We came up with this design because of the unity. I think that people should come together from all over the places, no matter what skin color you are, no matter what religions you believe in.
Coleman's mural in the Strip is just one of 10 that can be found sprawled across buildings throughout Pittsburgh neighborhoods like Oakland, Sharpsburg, and Homewood, where businesses and property owners gave artists permission to use their walls as a canvas to create larger-than-life signs for unity and social justice.
These issues are not for one community or the other, but this affects us all as Pittsburghers, and what better way to bring people together than through the universal language.
Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
And if you want to check out the murals in person, we have a list of the exact locations for you on our website at WPXI.com. A Deer Lakes High School senior wants to continue hybrid learning. Connor Sharrow started an online petition that says hybrid is the best way to learn while remaining socially distant. He started that petition, though, after parents demanded that the board reinstate full-time in-person learning at last week's meeting. Sharrow is halfway to his goal of 400 signatures. The school board is expected to make a decision on this tomorrow.
Carlow University will soon be looking for a new leader. Its president, Susanna Mellon, plans to retire at the end of the school year. Mellon has been with the university since 2013. The university says it will partner with the search firm to begin the process of hiring the next president.
New York City restaurants can now start charging diners a recovery fee as they try to survive the pandemic. New York City's council approved the measure last month, and it went into effect over the weekend. The 10% surcharge applies to diners eating indoors and outside. Takeout and delivery orders, though, are excluded.
I kind of feel that the surcharge is the most honest way to do it because it sort of tells guests, you know, the price of the hamburger didn't really go up, but the cost of doing business went up in a way that is specific to the pandemic.
Participating restaurants must clearly display the additional fee on their menus.
Wildfires continue to burn out west today, driving thousands from their homes. This is a fire in Boulder, Colorado. It's burned nearly 9,000 acres and forced about 3,000 people from their homes. As of this afternoon, it's only about 5% contained. In New Mexico, this fire is burning in the Carson National Forest. It has scorched 10,000 acres and just started on Saturday, and that is 0% contained.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
We could certainly use some of the rain we're finally getting around here today. And keep in mind, over the last, well, really since middle of July, we've been fairly dry, although we've had a couple pockets of rain end of August, early September that kind of, backed down on the deficit amount. But since September 1st, we're about 2.5 inches below normal. Plenty of rain right now on live storm tracker, Doppler 11 radar. Heaviest rain, eastern Indiana County, northeastern Westmoreland County. The rest of it fairly light, although as you look into Butler County, a couple of batches of some moderate rain up toward West Liberty and Slippery Rock and up into Venango County as well. Most of the rain we see today will be light rain, occasionally a little more moderate. So keep in mind, steadiest rain, as we told you this morning on Channel 11 Morning News, north and west of the city of Pittsburgh. South and east of the city, it will be a bit more scattered, but ponding, hydroplaning, certainly possible on area roads. And watch for those wet leaves, fairly slippery, especially with peak foliage season right now. A lot of leaves coming off the trees. That's going to make those secondary and side roads a little slick. Temperature's actually going to come up a little bit as we head toward the evening hours. So off and on rain today. Any yard work you wanted to get done today? Not the best day, although you could probably still pull some weeds and some very light rain this afternoon. Here's Storm Tracker, 2 p.m. Notice the rain showers crossing the area. And we do get some breaks in the rain in a couple of spots, so it's not going to rain all the time, but certainly enough to be a nuisance. If you have to take the trash cans out this evening, probably 7, 8 o'clock, about the best time to avoid the raindrops. Overnight tonight, rain does fill back in from time to time. And as we hit the air tomorrow morning on Channel 11 Morning News at 4:30, widespread showers, maybe even a quick clap of thunder in western Washington County. I'll track you through the morning. Trish will have the slowdowns on area roadways because it could be a wet Tuesday morning commute across the area, especially before 9 or 10 in the morning. Then we'll start to get some gaps during the course of the day tomorrow. 53 overnight tonight, showers off and on, and 53 will be our low temperature this evening, probably rising a degree or two overnight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, a little warmer, 63 for the high temperature tomorrow. Rainfall amounts a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Mostly cloudy on Wednesday, 75, then nice Thursday and Friday. Good deal of sunshine, mid to upper 70s for high temperatures. Overnight lows in the 50s. We do cool back off for the weekend. 60 on Saturday with showers, 58 and partly sunny on Sunday.
You can once again take a stroll around the Highland Park Reservoir. The historic loop is back open. The city invested $7 million in security upgrades, including security cameras and guard shacks.
Hunters, you do not have to wear orange face masks this season. That's according to the State Game Commission. The commission says a prank website posted a story about the face coverings and it's spread across social media. The state does require hunters to wear fluorescent orange, but not as face masks.
Living on the edge, millions of Americans could not make their mortgage payment last month, while some fear that number could soon skyrocket.
The whole scary part about this is that we haven't even yet started flu season.
And going in the wrong direction at home and around the world. What the country's top disease experts say needs to happen now to slow the spread of COVID.
Channel 11 Morning News brings you what's happening now.
Hackers are seizing on the presidential election.
So here's what the FBI says that we can all do to avoid becoming a victim.
Tracking where you might need your windshield wipers on the way into work.
What's new?
There are new reports of people getting incorrect mail-in ballots.
And what's next?
Crowd here in front of City Court live this morning, working to see what will happen next.
The better chance of rain showers approaching the evening hours.
Count on Channel 11 News for live coverage every morning. Watch Catherine Amenta and Gordon Lesh on Channel 11 Morning News.
The pandemic has left so many people struggling financially, and that means some will not be able to make their rent or mortgage payments. In fact, more than 6 million Americans failed to make payments on their mortgage last month. That's according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. A moratorium on evictions for people making less than $99,000 a year ends December 31st. Without another stimulus check, some economists worry that payments could leave more Americans homeless in 2021.
It's the newest way to get around the city, but some say electric scooters can be dangerous. It's illegal to use an e-scooter on roads in Pennsylvania. And that means they have to share the sidewalks and trails with walkers and runners. A study from 2018 found more than 14,000 e-scooter related injuries, and popularity is growing. In Pittsburgh, there are around 100 Scooby scooters. Each comes with 2 helmets and tops out at 30 miles per hour.
Robinson Township breaks ground on a new police station. The new design will be capable of supporting their services for the next 50 years. It's going to be right next to the current station.
State police need help in finding a stolen drilling rig. Here's a picture of what it looks like. Hard to miss. The Mack drilling rig was stolen last night from a site in Columbiana County. Police say it was spotted 3 hours later traveling eastbound on Interstate 80 in Jefferson County.
Tempers boil over. What led to this violent confrontation at a grocery store, and what more companies are doing to stop situations like this?
I think it's important just to make sure the process is smooth for as many people as possible.
And voters head to the polls in just over 2 weeks. What's being done to make sure their experience goes smoothly and fairly?
Channel 11 News and NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
We're a team you can count on to cover stories that impact your life.
Whether it's across the street or around the world.
Channel 11 News at 6.
And NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
You're streaming WPXI Now, your source for breaking news, weather, and original local shows. Murder, mystery, and the missing. Justice Rules profiles real-life crime stories. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. right here on WPXI Now.
Nobody can read between the lines like Judge Judy.
Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Scott Harbaugh rejoins us on this dreary day.
Yeah, Scott, it's going to be raining for most of the afternoon here.
Yeah, you can see all the green on live storm tracker Doppler 11 radar, fairly widespread. And as we told you this morning on Channel 11 Morning News, the farther southeast you got from Uniontown, Morgantown, and Point Southeast, much less rain during the course of the day today. Most of this is light. You can tell by the green on radar, but a couple pockets of some yellow. Northern Butler County, southwestern Clarion County, indicating a few areas of some more moderate rain. We're only making it back to 58 today. More than likely, that's going to be this evening. Periods of rain, a little warmer tomorrow, a lot warmer as we head toward Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Your updated 5-day forecast with the weekend always in view coming up this half hour.
The global number of COVID-19 cases has surpassed the 40 million mark today.
That's according to the latest numbers from Johns Hopkins University. There has also been more than 1.1 million deaths worldwide. The U.S. is the country that has recorded the most deaths so far, with more than 8 million infections, followed by India with more than 7.5 million cases. Brazil comes in third with more than 5.2 million. Cases of COVID-19 are on the rise in most states, and some health experts say it could be a while before that trend comes to an end. The United States is averaging at least 55,000 new cases each day. That is more than a 60% spike since mid-September. Despite the increase in cases and deaths, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious disease expert in the nation, does not want to close down the country again.
Put shutdown away and say, we're going to use public health measures to help us safely get to where we want to go.
As of Sunday, only 2 states, Missouri and Vermont, were showing at least a 10% drop in new cases. The state has an aggressive new plan to deal with higher rates of COVID-19 in African-American communities. This weekend, Pennsylvania opened new testing sites through a partnership with faith-based organizations. And right now, the state health department officials are working to identify other communities in need of testing.
Nursing homes in Pennsylvania are bracing for new COVID cases, but according to a new report, they do say they have a plan. Nursing home operators are looking for more protective gear and help with testing and other aids to make sure they can control any possible outbreak. A quarter of Pennsylvania's 700 nursing homes said they didn't have enough PPE last month.
A car ended up inside a local daycare after a crash in Fayette County. The entire car, you can see, went right into Desiree's Playland on Dunbar Road in Dunbar Township. Our crew was there when the car was actually pulled out of the building. Fortunately, no one was hurt. State police are investigating the cause.
A boy playing hide and seek is okay after he fell into a 20-foot deep well in Unity Township. According to the Trib, the 12-year-old fell while playing with a friend yesterday afternoon. We're told firefighters lowered a ladder down so that the boy could climb back up out of the well. Officials say that well was covered, but the cover collapsed when the boy walked across it. Breaking at 12:30, Governor Tom Wolf and State Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine are giving us an update on efforts to stop the spread of the coronavirus.
They are speaking right now. Let's listen in.
The resurgence is here, and while we always have to take this deadly virus seriously, now is really the time to double down on our efforts to keep ourselves and the people around us safe. So this is a plea to do just that, to keep us safe. We've seen what happens when people don't wear masks. That's a problem. We've seen what happens when folks don't practice social distancing. I mean, people just get sick. That's what happens. I don't like it. It's frustrating. You don't like it, but that's what happens. So we need to stay vigilant, and we need to stay together on this. I mean, the thing I think that has helped Pennsylvania, and we've done pretty well so far, is that in the end, Pennsylvanians have by and large stuck together. Last week, Dr. Levine introduced the team at the Department of Health that has been preparing for the fall resurgence here in Pennsylvania, and they have really been working hard, doing outstanding work. And I'm proud to have such a strong group of leaders in my administration doing this work. And the whole administration, we've been focused on this. I mean, I know I've been talking about this a lot, that there's going to be a resurgence that's coming, and we've been preparing for it. We have built a robust testing system. We've built a robust contact tracing system. I mean, we've been working on that. If you think back to where we were, how many hundreds we could do in a day back in early March when this started. We're now averaging in the high 30s. I guess the highest point is almost 40,000 tests per day. And we have contact tracing systems that are in place, including the app that is now being used in Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, we have 300, as of a couple minutes ago, 323,000 users, and that keeps growing with each day. Second, we fine-tuned our monitoring and response efforts when outbreaks occur. As I keep saying, we've built up a stockpile of personal protective equipment here in Pennsylvania, and we've put in place targeted mitigation orders that keep Pennsylvanians safe while allowing us to go about our lives to the extent we can do that. COVID is tough, no question about it, and it's frustrating. But together, Pennsylvanians are even tougher. And last 7.5 months have shown us that when we work together, we can do pretty amazing things. And we have. In the spring, in face of a disease that doctors and researchers knew almost nothing about, Pennsylvanians came together and we did a pretty good job of, we didn't exactly stop COVID in its tracks, but we did a pretty good job, and really proud of what we did. And over the summer, despite the fact that we still don't have a vaccine or a cure, and we had a little bit of an uptick, we were able to open up the Commonwealth actually back in May, before the summer even started, because Pennsylvanians worked together to keep the case counts low. Because we were low, because we did a good job, we could actually open up in May. And we did it in a measured way that actually kept us safe. We can do this again. And to stop the fall resurgence in its tracks, again, it comes down to all of us working together against COVID. Right now, we need to be vigilant about taking safety precautions and following the COVID guidelines. So this is just another plea. Remember, practice social distancing, wear masks, wash your hands. If you're sick, don't go to work. Each and every one of us needs to keep doing all of these things so that we know will help keep us safe, but also keep the people around us safe. And that's the best way to protect ourselves and our families. It also protects our healthcare workers. It protects our frontline workers and all the people who are most vulnerable to this disease. So, Pennsylvanians, you matter. All of us matters. So do our actions. When we make good choices and follow health and safety measures, we see results. So let's keep working together to make sure this fall upsurge is as minimal as it can possibly be. Thank you. And now I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Rachel Levine. Dr. Levine.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor, for your introduction. Today, I would like to discuss some of the data that we are using to assess where Pennsylvania is in regards to the fall resurgence and the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we reported 1,103 new cases, which brings the total number of COVID-19 cases in Pennsylvania to 183,315. We have now seen 14 days where we have reported more than 1,000 new cases of the virus each day. Of these cases, 80% are considered recovered, meaning it has been more than 30 days past the patient's positive test or their onset of symptoms. As I have discussed previously, we know that a true recovery for many will take months as they continue to deal with chronic symptoms from the virus. Today, we are reporting 841 individuals that are hospitalized due to COVID-19. Now, this number has been steadily climbing. On September 22nd, we reported 422 individuals hospitalized for COVID-19. We expect these numbers to continue to increase as hospitalizations normally rise a few weeks after an increase in cases, and as we've been discussing, as the flu season starts. However, these numbers are well below what we saw in the spring, where at our peak, more than 3,000 people had been hospitalized on one day for COVID-19, had been in the hospital for one day. Our healthcare systems are better prepared to address the virus than they were in the spring. But as the governor just discussed, we all have to do our part together to prevent an increase in the spread of COVID-19, an increase in hospitalizations, particularly as flu season is here. Another trend we have been observing is an increase in percent positivity, both statewide and in specific counties. The statewide percent positivity, as reported on our early warning monitoring dashboard, is at 4.3% statewide. That's the highest it's been since August 7th. In addition, 21 counties have percent positivities of greater than 5%. Over the last 2 weeks, we have reported nearly 2,000 new cases of COVID-19 among school-age children, which are ages 5 through 18. The percent of cases we are seeing among 13 to 18-year-olds is higher than it has been since the beginning of the pandemic over September and October. In addition, we are seeing cases spread out among those 50 and younger, compared to in the spring when it was primarily 50 and older. Another data point that we are closely monitoring is the number of people who have reported going to a business or a large gathering 14 days prior to the onset of symptoms. It is essential that when the Pennsylvania Department of Health or the county municipal health departments call for these case investigations, that people provide this information to us as part of that case investigation process. We need that information to continue to improve our public health response and protect Pennsylvanians. It helps us because we know where they are at risk. For the week of October 4th through the 10th, 67% of people actually did not answer questions as to whether they frequented a business or attended a mass gathering. I can't stress enough how critical it is for them to give us that information and participate fully in the case investigation process and the contact tracing process. Those are the linchpins of our containment strategy. Of those that did respond and answered yes to having visited a business establishment, 50% had reported going to a restaurant, 14% had reported going to a bar, 13% to a gym or fitness center, 8% to a salon or a barbershop, and 26% going to some other type of business establishment. All that is on our data dashboard. And as the governor mentioned, we now have the COVID Alert PA app, and that is assisting us in the contact tracing efforts using Bluetooth technology to determine if someone has been exposed to someone who tested positive. Again, we are not tracking.
You've been listening to Dr. Levine and Governor Tom Wolf giving an update on the coronavirus efforts here in Pennsylvania. Their continued push for mask wearing and their expected response to the resurgence in coronavirus cases across the state. If you want to keep watching this news conference, we're going to stream it right now on WPXI.com and our streaming app, and we're going to have a complete report on that press conference beginning tonight at 5.
A wet and chilly afternoon. I'm tracking how much longer you'll need the umbrella today.
Nobody can read between the lines.
She's an 18-year-old girl. She got a settlement. You saw a little money. You wanted a big red truck.
Like Judge Judy.
Shiny, shiny, shiny red truck.
Judge Judy, weekdays at 4 and 4:30 on Channel 11. You're streaming WPXI now. Channel 11 expands its streaming live newscasts. When other stations are national, Channel 11 News is local, right here at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. on WPXI Now.
What's new?
What's now and what's next every morning
on Channel 11 Morning News.
President Donald Trump and his supporters are aggressively recruiting so-called poll watchers for the election. It's something both sides traditionally do.
But many worry that this year they could undermine the very thing they claim to protect. Here's NBC's Ron Allen.
Just weeks from Election Day,
4 more years.
Tension outside early voting sites, fueling fears of confrontations and voter intimidation at the polls.
We need every able-bodied man, woman to join Army for Trump's election security operation.
The Trump campaign calling for thousands to monitor what the president insists is an election rigged against him.
I'm urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully.
It's just important that voters know the truth.
Al Schmidt, a Republican election commissioner in battleground Pennsylvania, who we met in a mock polling place, pushing back at the president's allegations.
There are all sorts of safeguards built in the system.
Rules vary by state, but poll watchers are designated and trained by parties and candidates, one from each side in the room at a time on Election Day here. Where could a poll watcher be in this environment?
A watcher could be back there behind you over there, or over there. They can't be behind the machines.
These people can't be stopping voters and talking to people and raising their hands and making objections.
That's right. They can't stop voters. They can't harass voters. They should approach the judge of elections.
They're in the room all the time.
They're in the room all the time.
Both sides also watching closely outside polling places. At this Philadelphia election site, a Biden poll monitor, different than a poll watcher who's allowed inside, confirms voters had no problems.
I think it's important just to make sure the process is smooth for as many people as possible.
Team Biden says the president's accusations about fraud go too far.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things.
The president's rhetoric is grossly irresponsible. It is unquestionably a vote suppression tool. It is so outlandish. It is very difficult to imagine that many voters around the country actually take what he has to say seriously.
Team Trump insists it's playing by the rules. So to your opponents who would say that this army is out to suppress votes, intimidate voters, you would say?
It's a totally false narrative. Why would we want to suppress voters in a state that we won by 44,000 votes? Encouraging people to go into our website and be trained and engage in the proper poll watching process.
Just weeks to go, voters already turning out in historic numbers, hoping it's a free and fair election. Ron Allen, NBC News, Philadelphia.
A customer at a grocery store got into a fight for not wearing a face mask. This is new video of the incident in Washington State. The customer told the employee he has a medical condition that prevents him from wearing a mask. The situation, though, escalated quickly to the point where someone grabbed the unmasked man's phone and threw it to the ground. The employee also threw an object at the man, hitting him in the head. The store is investigating the incident. With the holiday shopping season right around the corner, more employees are being taught on how to handle fights over masks. The National Retail Federation teamed with the Crisis Prevention Institute, a company focused on reducing workplace violence. They're beginning a program to help retail workers learn how to prevent and de-escalate shopper disputes that emerge from pandemic restrictions. Officials call the online training very practical. They believe this shopping season will be stressful and want workers to show empathy and support.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
It's been a while since we've seen this kind of widespread rain on live storm tracker Doppler 11 radar. During the daylight hours, we've had a couple shots of rain at night, but during the daylight hours, it's been much more scattered. Moderate rain up into Clarion County right now. Indiana County picking up some fairly decent rain as well right now. As we go through the next couple of hours, we'll continue to see this rain taper off to just light showers for much of the afternoon. Again, couple pockets up into Mercer County, a little more moderate this afternoon. Lots of cloud cover. The exception down into Garrett County, Maryland, the sun trying to peek through just a bit. So weather in a word today, rain, and that's important because with all the leaves coming off the trees, keep in mind wet leaves are going to be an issue in some of those side roads and neighborhood streets. Ponding also a possibility driving around today. Here's Storm Tracker this afternoon. Again, pockets of rain taper off to some scattered showers through the evening hours and then more often on showers tonight and tomorrow. 58 today, periods of rain. Tonight only down to 53. Showers from time to time and a mild night. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, more scattered showers. We'll make it to 63 during the day tomorrow. And then big warm up coming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. High temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, overnight lows in the mid 50s, so a very warm end of the week. Matter of fact, high temperatures running about 15 to 20 degrees above normal through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, though, we do cool down again. Showers Saturday, 60 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny and 58. Gordon?
I'll take it, Scott. Love knows no boundaries. The great lengths one couple went to tie the knot. Now here's local steals and deals, Lisa Robertson.
Hey, Lisa Robertson here with Local Steals and Deals, and here's a really good one. I don't know about you, but spending all this time at home, I've been spending a lot of time in the kitchen. And I don't mean to brag, but I've actually made some things that are really good and that I'm so proud of myself. But one of the things I found spending time in the kitchen is having the right tools makes all the difference. If I'm struggling with the wrong things, it's no fun. If I have great tools, oh my gosh, it's fabulous in the kitchen. So this knife set with this beautiful block is perfect. This is from J.A. Henkel's. That's a name that has been one of the #1 names in quality kitchen tools since 1895. This is German engineered quality stainless steel. You get this beautiful sleek block. You get 4 knives and the shears, but here's the great part. You ever notice that you have a knife block with a million knives and you only use a few? I do that, right? I have like, all this and I just use these. So what they did is they pared it down to the 4 essential knives. You're gonna have the paring knife, right? That's your just basic fruits, veggies, easy, great size, kind of cuts everything. Here's your serrated knife for your breads. Then we have the utility knife. This is kind of that catch-all in between. Then we have the chef's knife. This is my favorite for the rocking. Back and forth, love that. These are all, by the way, great weight, beautifully done, great balance, feel good in the hand, great quality, and kitchen shears, they come in this great block. Here's the cool thing. If you ever notice that there's never enough room in your kitchen, look how this just slides right in. Takes up no room, all the knives you need, great quality, dishwasher safe, and you're ready to go. So now, when you're getting ready to make something for a snack, when you're making dinner for the family in the evening, if you want to give somebody a great gift and they're spending time in the kitchen, what could be better than a fabulous set of knives? These make your everyday better. They make cooking a joy, and right now they're on localsteals.com for 36% off. Just one of the great ideas we have for you.
On Channel 11 Morning News, we bring you what's new, what's happening now, and what's next.
That means our newsroom is always searching for new details and new stories. It also means breaking. If it's happening now, I'm on it, bringing you live updates from the breaking news desk.
Our crews know the mission too.
Brand new confirmed information. I'm going to bring that to you live.
Preparing you for what happens next. How will news stories, weather, and traffic affect your day?
What's new, what's now, and what's next every morning on Channel 11 Morning News.
When you want news from where you live,
watch Channel 11 News at 5.
The U.S. government is exploring new ways to get even more people flying again. According to NBC News, the U.S. is now in talks with airlines and foreign governments about ways to jumpstart travel between the U.S. and Europe. One option is to expand rapid COVID testing at airports. That could help shorten quarantines for U.S. travelers who are headed overseas.
Being able to have a little bit more time to quarantine, get tested before seeing family members is something that people are really taking into consideration this year.
The CDC is still warning, though, that travel does increase a person's chance of getting and spreading COVID.
New at noon, for the first time since the pandemic began, more than 1 million people were screened at TSA checkpoints yesterday. The number of people screened is still 60% lower than 1 year ago. The lowest number of people screened during the pandemic was 87,000. That was on April 14th.
Coca-Cola is officially discontinuing its very first diet soft drink. Tab debuted as a low-calorie cola alternative in the early 1960s. It was popular right through the 80s, but fell out of favor after Diet Coke and later Coke Zero were developed. Now Tab only accounts for 0.1% of global sales.
A local memorial that honors World War II veterans just got a makeover. New granite slabs were installed at the Harrison Honor Roll Memorial. They're 2 inches thick and weigh at least 650 pounds. They replaced the old painted panels that were faded and cracked. Nearly 2,000 names are on the new panels. A rededication ceremony is planned next week. Talk about social distancing. A Canadian couple used both sides of the border between the U.S. and Canada to hold their wedding. About 50 people joined the couple on the Canadian side. Another 15 loved ones watched from the other side of the border in Maine. And the couple's grandparents watched from a boat in the middle of the water. The bride and groom say they didn't want to wait for the pandemic to end for their lives as a married couple to begin. Interesting idea.
Congratulations to them. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast comes up tonight at 5 o'clock.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
All personnel.
We got to nip it. Golly.
Green Acres, we are there. I know nothing.